Okay. So now coming to the WHO classification of thyroid cancer. So first, I will just divide it into three parts. Well differentiated carcinoma, they have a very good follicular differentiation. Okay. Then there are undifferentiated carcinoma where there is no follicular differentiation, and in between these two there is a limited differentiated carcinoma with very limited follicular differentiation. So one end there is well differentiated carcinoma, at other end there is undifferentiated carcinoma, and in between there is a limited differentiation. Okay, so this is very important, that how we divide the three of them, the three major region. So well differentiated, there is papillary, follicular, and Hurthel's thyroid carcinoma. Remember, these three are the well differentiated. They have complete differentiation of their follicles. Now, papillary thyroid carcinoma, full follicular differentiation, but with a distinctive nuclear feature. So, all the classification in differentiated thyroid carcinoma is with respect to the nuclear feature of papillary thyroid carcinoma. Once you have the distinctive nuclear feature of papillary thyroid carcinoma, it is there, and then you will start talking about the other one. Follicular, they have follicular differentiation, but no papillary nuclear feature. So see how these nuclear features are so important in dividing the differentiated thyroid carcinomas. You will keep on listening about this a lot of time. And what about the Hurthel's thyroid carcinoma? It's also called it oncocytic. It is previously classified as follicular type, but now this has been classified separately in WHO classification. These are those follicular neoplasm who had more than which had more than 75% of oncocytic, Ashkenazi, Hurthus, or oxyphilic cell. All four cells are same, so they can ask questions by quoting any of this name. So it is all Hurthus only, and with no papillary nuclear features. Again, you can see they have these cells, but there should not be any papillary nuclear features. Because if they have these cells, but they have the papillary nuclear feature, it will become the Hurthal cell variant of the papillary thyroid carcinoma. So, having no papillary nuclear feature is the foremost important thing in dividing the differentiated thyroid carcinoma. Right? Now there are 15 variants of papillary thyroid carcinoma. Just name, you can just go through these names just once. Important one are classic tall cell, follicular variant, and cribriform nodular variant, because there are certain points that are related to these variants. So just remember four or five of them. In follicular, again, they are divided into three parts: minimal invasive, encapsulated, angio invasion, and widely invasive. So the first one, minimal invasive, is only capsular invasion. In encapsulated angio invasion is there is less than four foci of vascular invasion, and widely invasive, extensive invasion of the thyroid and extrathyroid puff tissue. So usually they don't ask question on this. Then undifferentiated one is the anaplastic thyroid carcinoma. There is no differentiation of the uh, follicular cell. It is a highly aggressive malignancy composing of undifferentiated molecular thyroid cells. So it is a opposite spectrum. And limited differentiation is poorly differentiated thyroid carcinoma. So these are malignant follicular cell neoplasm with limited evidence of follicular cell differentiation, qualifying Turing's criteria. So what is Turing's criteria? We will study. So it is an intermediate type of pathology between the differentiated and the anaplastic. So this is the point that I wanted to stress upon. And there are other thyroid carcinomas with different pathologies like medullary, mucoepidermoid, mucinous, and many more. So out of other thyroid, we will only be studying medullary thyroid carcinoma as a separate topic. So right now we have these three differentiated, one limited differentiated, poorly differentiated thyroid carcinoma, and one undifferentiated anaplastic thyroid carcinoma. So these five we will study as a comparison, because in the comparison you will be able to retain all the points. Okay. So whatever the points we are studying in the papillary, the same point we will study in all the five types that we will be studying. So papillary thyroid carcinoma, most common, 70 to 80% of thyroid cancer. It has a female predominance with younger age, 20 to 40 years. Excellent prognosis. Lymph node metastasis is common, 40%. It may present as a next secondaries only many clinical scenario without any primary, and that occurs in 20% cases, where we also call them as lateral aberrant thyroid. So this term lateral aberrant thyroid is associated with papillary thyroid carcinoma. Lymph node involvement doesn't affect prognosis. For now, you just remember because in MCQ, this will be the line they will be asking. I will be discussing these major five type of thyroid cancer in a comparative manner. Same point will be discussed in different slides as a comparison. So first is the papillary thyroid carcinoma, most common, 70 to 80% of thyroid cancer with a female predominance and younger age group. Prognosis is excellent. Lymph node metastasis is common. Up to 40% patients present with lymph node metastasis. Even in 20% patients, sometime in absence of primary, they may only present with a neck node. And that's also called as lateral aberrant thyroid. So lateral aberrant thyroid term is associated with papillary thyroid carcinoma. Lymph node involvement doesn't affect prognosis. For MCQs, you have to remember this only. Later on, you will come to know that in the recent advances, the, there is classification in that also as a high risk, low risk. But for MCQ purpose, lymph node involvement doesn't affect the prognosis in papillary thyroid carcinoma. Distal metastasis is less common. Now, the same point in follicular thyroid carcinoma, 10% of thyroid cancer. Again, here it is a female predominance, but older age, 40 to 60 years, and rarely in children. Papillary thyroid carcinoma can occur in children also. In fact, it is the only cancer that is more common in children. But follicular thyroid carcinoma is very rare in children, and the female, and there is an older age group of 40 to 60 years with female predominance. Good prognosis. Lymph node metastasis is very less, only 5%. Distant metastasis is more common, up to 60%, with hematogenous mode of spread. And the site of metastasis is most common bone, followed by lung, followed by liver. And bony secondaries are vascular, warm, and pulsatile in the skull or long bones. Hurthle cell carcinoma, all the same points, only 2% of thyroid cancer. Now here it is an older man. It's not a female predominant, it's a male predominance with an older age group. Prognosis more aggressive than the conventional follicular carcinoma and hence a poorer prognosis than the follicular carcinoma. Lymph node metastasis is common up to 30% like papillary thyroid carcinoma, and distant metastasis is also common like follicular thyroid carcinoma. Right? The same points in polythyroid carcinoma, only 0.3 to 5% of thyroid cancer. Again, older patient with no sex predominance. Mean age is 60 years. Prognosis is poor. Lymph node metastasis is common, 20 to 65%. Distant metastasis, 40 to 75%. Anaplastic thyroid carcinoma, only 2% of thyroid cancer with a female predominance but a older age group. Prognosis very poor, and in fact so poor that it accounts for the 50% mortality that happen in the thyroid cancer patients. Local invasion, it is the most notorious type of thyroid cancer for local invasion. The organ, the nearby structure, adjacent structure are involved in the order of staph muscles are most commonly involved, followed by trachea, followed by esophagus. Lymph node metastasis is very common, 40%, and distant metastasis is also very common, 75%. So distant metastasis is more in lungs. Now you can see in this single slide, you can see there are so many questions. All of from among all these five, there is only one cancer that has a male predominance. That is Hurthle cell thyroid carcinoma. Again, out of all these five cancer, there is only one cancer which has a younger age group predilection. That is papillary thyroid. Other than that, all of them are older age group, involving older age group. All the five were had except one had a lymph node metastasis, commonly have lymph node metastasis, other except for the follicular thyroid cancer. Now, in follicular thyroid cancer, there is bone is the foremost site of the metastasis, while in anaplastic it is lungs. So you can see there are a lot of questions can be found in from this single side only. So remember this very carefully. Now again in the next slide, We will discuss again the same points in different cancers. First, papillary. Clinical features for all the three, papillary, follicular, and Hurthal, is that it's asymptomatic solitary nodule. In papillary, there may be a nodal mass also, as a lateral aberrant thyroid. Compressive feature is less common in papillary. It may be multicentric in 40% cases and also bilateral sometimes. It is a slow growing tumor. The etiologies are ionizing radiation exposure in childhood, nuclear leak or explosion exposure, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Hashimoto thyroiditis is also associated with the thyroid lymphoma also. So the question may be, interchanged, that Hashimoto thyroiditis is a risk factor for both papillary and lymphoma. It may be familial in 4 to 5% cases, but prognosis is same in familial thyroid cancer, papillary thyroid cancer. So familial FAP, familial adenomatous polyposis, Cordon syndrome, and Carney complex 1. So these three are the syndromes that are associated with the papillary thyroid cancer. Now all these point in the other four cancers. Follicular thyroid carcinoma, it is also uh, it has a presentation as a asymptomatic solitary nodule only. Compressive features may be present in large nodule because when you will see that in the risk factor, they are the long-standing multinodular goiter and choroid goiter is also a risk factor for the development of follicular thyroid cancer. So compressive feature may occur in follicular thyroid cancer. It is usually unifocal. It is also a relatively slow growing. Etiology: insufficient dietary intake, long-standing multinodular goiter or colloid goiter, older age, irradiation exposure like papillary, but to some less extent. If the question is asked, then the irradiation is mostly associated with the papillary thyroid carcinoma, but to some extent in follicular also. Familial follicular thyroid carcinoma may occur in caudal and Carney complex 1. So caudal and Carney complex 1 may have thyroid carcinoma in both the histological type, papillary as well as follicular, but familial adenomatous polyposis has only papillary thyroid carcinoma as a thyroid cancer. Hurther cell thyroid carcinoma again as a follicular thyroid nodule. Compressive features are common here also. It is usually unifocal, aggressive tumor. Risk factor: there is no known exogenous risk factor for Hurther cell thyroid carcinoma. This has also been asked sometime. There is no known factors. Poorly differentiated thyroid carcinoma, it presents as a large solitary thyroid mass with a history of recent growth in a long-standing uh, uninodular or multinodular thyroid. Compressive features are common. It's a very aggressive tumor. Risk factor are again as iodine deficiency like follicular, or it may arise from after de-differentiation of the differentiated thyroid cancer. Anaplastic: rapidly enlarging, bulky, painful neck mass invading adjacent structure, leading to the hoarseness, dysphagia, and dyspnea. Compressive feature are again common, very common in anaplastic. Very highly aggressive tumor, and etiology is usually unclear, but there may be anaplastic transformation of differentiated thyroid cancers. So when there is a transformation because of the accumulation of the mutation from the differentiated thyroid cancer, it may first change into poorly differentiated thyroid cancer and then subsequently into anaplastic thyroid cancer. So again, in this slide, you can see there are a lot of questions, especially multicentricity, focality, clinical features, and the etiology. The questions have been asked on all these points. Just wait. Okay. So what are the pathologies? So this is very important slide. You will definitely get one or two questions about on these pathologies. So we will discuss from uh, first these three and then the other poorly differentiated anaplastic. So if you remember, I have told you in the WHO classification itself that the distinctive nuclear feature associated with the papillary thyroid cancer is the most defining feature. First, you have to look for those, whether there is a nuclear feature is present or not. If those nuclear features are present, it is a papillary thyroid cancer. So, what are those nuclear features? First is related to the shape and size of the nucleus, elongated, overlapping nucleus. Second is related to the changes in the chromatin. Chromatin With the clearing of the chromatin, they are pushed to the margin of of the nucleus, and hence the nucleus appear as glassy or ground glass. That is also known as orphan annealed nuclei. And the third changes in the nuclear membrane. There is irregular nuclear membrane with groove and pseudo inclusion. So there are three distinctive nuclear features that classify a thyroid cancer as the papillary thyroid carcinoma. One is the change in the size and shape. Second is the changes in the chromatin network, and third is the changes in the nuclear membrane. Six three changes. Now the follicular thyroid carcinoma, follicular lesion of differentiated follicular cells without papillary nuclear features, but with capsular invasion or vascular invasion or adjacent thyroid parenchymal invasion. So this is a must. There should not be any papillary nuclear features, plus there should be a capsular or vascular or adjacent thyroid parenchymal invasion. I hope it is very clear. Okay. Then it is a follicular thyroid carcinoma. Now for Hurther cell carcinoma, again combine both these and additional features. No papillary nuclear feature, capsular vascular invasion, along with more than 75% of oncocytic Hurther cell or Ascanzi cell, oxyphilic cell, whatever you call. So what are these oncocytic cell actually? This is the cell which has a very specific appearance, deeply eosinophilic and granular cytoplasm due to accumulation of dysfunctional mitochondria. So I think all these three black boxes should be very clear. For papillary, three nuclear features. For follicular, absence of those three nuclear features plus capsular or vascular invasion. For Hurther cell, absence of those papillary nuclear features plus capsular vascular invasion plus more than 75% oncocytic cells which are actually due to the accumulation of the dysfunctional mitochondria. Other than these hallmarks, in papillary thyroid cancer, they are colloid filled follicles with papillary projection. So I'm pointing at this point, colloid filled follicles. These are colloid filled follicles with papillary projection which are laminated, and these are called psammoma bodies. In follicular thyroid cancer, there is no colloid or very scanty colloid. If you see the difference, there are colloid, the plenty of colloid in papillary thyroid carcinoma, but there is no or scanty colloid in follicular thyroid carcinoma. There should not be any necrosis. Mitotic figure should be less than 3 per 10 horsepower HPF because it is a well differentiated. If it will have been more than 3, then it is not qualified. It doesn't qualify as a well differentiated. It will be either intermediate differentiation or poorly differentiated thyroid cancer, or it will be anaplastic. So whenever we are talking about differentiated thyroid cancer, mitotic figure cannot be more than 3. So no necrosis, no colloid, mitotic figure less than 3. Apart from that, if you're talking about any other cancer in the body, if there is atypia, pleomorphism, or high mitosis, we used to say that it is a feature of malignancy. But in thyroid cancer, these feature doesn't qualify follicular lesion as a malignant lesion. Only feature that qualifies them as a malignant lesion is capsular or vascular invasion. So if in the option it is given that it's a nuclear atypia or pleomorphism, it doesn't matter. It can be there in the adenoma also. It is not specific for malignancy. So all these points are very important. Now, Hurther cell thyroid carcinoma, they may have psammoma bodies like calcification, but without lamination. There is no colloid and no necrosis. So remember, psammoma bodies is there in Hurther cell as well as papillary cell thyroid carcinoma. But difference is there is colloid filled follicles, there is no colloid in Hurther cell. There is laminated psammoma bodies in papillary, but there is without lamination psammoma bodies in Hurther cell. Mitotic figure is again less than 3 because it is a well differentiated thyroid cancer. Again, like follicular thyroid carcinoma, if there is a atypia, pleomorphism, or high mitosis, it doesn't specify, it is not specific for malignancy, it doesn't qualify it as a malignancy. Only capsular or vascular invasion qualified them as a malignant lesion, follicular lesion. So the above three should be very clear that what is what in papillary follicular and Hurther cell carcinoma. Now the poorly differentiated thyroid carcinoma, there is a Turing's consensus diagnostic criteria. You just have to remember these 3 points. All three should be present. Again, no papillary nuclear feature. You can see that we start our cytological classification only after seeing the nucleus. No papillary, then let's talk about other things. Papillary, papillary thyroid carcinoma. Okay, so no papillary nuclear feature with solid trabecular insular growth pattern and at least one of the following: convoluted nucleoli more than or equal to 3 mitosis. So as I told you, less than 3 is a well differentiated. More than 3 is poorly differentiated. So now you can see here it is more than 3 and tumor necrosis should be present. In differentiated thyroid carcinoma, you can see there is no tumor necrosis, whether it is follicular or Hurther cell or papillary, no necrosis. But in poorly differentiated, there is necrosis. Okay, and anaplastic thyroid cancer. So extensive necrosis, marked nuclear pleomorphism, and high mitotic activity. Three patterns: sarcomatoid 50%, giant cell 30%, and epithelial 20%. Vascular invasion is present with obliteration of lumen. So anaplastic is not very important for questions, but all other four are very important. Now, what are the molecular pathology of different type of thyroid cancer? So this is another area that is recently being asked a lot of time in the examination. So first is the papillary thyroid cancer. We should know which is the most common in adult, which is the most common in children, which is most common when the cancer is because of ionization exposure, ionizing radiation exposure, and whether it is a mutation, point mutation, or it is a rearrangement, or it is a fusion. You should know about these basic 3 or 4 points. So most common is a BRAF oncogene mutation in papillary thyroid carcinoma. It is 60%. Okay, and out of this 60%, 45% is a point mutation, and 15% is rearrangement, intrachromosomal inversion. So BRAF oncogene is an oncogene. It may mutate in two different ways. Most of the time, it is a point mutation in the BRAF, and remaining time it is a rearrangement. So point mutation is have a very high prevalence in tall cell carcinoma variant. Rearrangement is associated with the exposure to the associated with the papillary thyroid carcinoma that occurs after ionizing radiation exposure. So BRAF rearrangement is associated with the ionizing radiation exposure, not the point mutation. Rearrangement of the BRAF. This is important. RAS oncogene is the second most common. It is a point mutation and it occurs particularly in follicular variant and with an aggressive course. Now, actually, the RET or PTC fusion in oncogene is the most common in papillary thyroid cancer in individuals which are exposed to ionizing radiation. So there are two mutation molecular pathology. One is RET and oblique PTC fusion oncogene, and one is BRAF rearrangement. So these two are associated with the exposure of ionizing radiation. Okay. And last one is third promoter mutation, which occur in 10% papillary thyroid cancers. So similarly, there are follicular thyroid carcinoma. The most common is RAS mutation, 40 to 50%. You can see in the papillary, the follicular variant also has the RAS mutation only. So here it is a follicular thyroid carcinoma. So you can just link from there. RAS mutation is most common. PAX8, PPAR, gamma rearrangement, next most common. I don't think you will be required to remember the translocations. The most important point here is that, sorry, RAS mutation and PAX8 PPAR gamma recombinants are mutually exclusive. If there is a RAS mutation, PAX8 mutation will not, translocation will not be there. And if it is a PAX8 translocation is there, then RAS mutation will not be there. It is mutually exclusive. Only one of them can be present in the cell, not both of them. Right? And the last one is the PI3CA and PTEN mutation, that is 5 to 10%. But all these mutation can also be present in follicular adenoma, and therefore these mutation cannot be used to differentiate between adenoma and carcinoma, follicular adenoma or carcinoma. Now, Hurther cell thyroid carcinoma, there are various mutation like GRIM19 mutation. That one I could just uh, search about. So the mutation like this or the deletion like GRIM19 mutation, these mutation occur in the mitochondrial DNA in the genes that code for the oxidative phosphorylation proteins. Now, when there is the uh, defect in this protein, there is a deficiency of energy production. The cell senses it as a deficiency, and for compensating this deficiency, the cell started proliferating mitochondria. So there is a overcrowding of mitochondria in the cell that give rise to that characteristic oncocytic appearance as deeply eosinophilic and granular cytoplasm because of this proliferation of mitochondria to compensate for the lack of the energy production that has happened because of the defect in the oxidative phosphorylation protein. This is a pathology of Hurther cell thyroid carcinoma. Poorly differentiated thyroid cancer, as we know that it uh, from the differentiated thyroid cancer because of the transformation from the differentiated thyroid cancer towards the poorly differentiated thyroid cancer, there is accumulation of a large amount of mutations. These accumulation ultimately lead to the poorly differentiated thyroid carcinoma. Further accumulation of the mutation lead to the transformation to anaplastic. So the anaplastic has the highest number of mutation. Nobody is going to ask the genes here. Just remember the concept. The highest mutation burden is in the anaplastic thyroid carcinoma because they transform from the differentiated thyroid cancer first to the poorly differentiated and then to the anaplastic with continuous accumulation of variety of mutation. I hope this slide is clear to everybody. Now start answering the questions. If it is clear, then you
Papillary.
can answer all the questions.
B.
Papillary. Meant to be.
And to be.
Okay.
Hashimoto.
Follicular thyroid cancer.
Hashimoto.
Hashimoto is for papillary and lymphoma of thyroid. Okay. False statement.
C.
C.
So which one account for the 50%?
Anaplastic.
Anaplastic. The most common for mortality. So you know this answer.
Anaplastic.
Okay.
Anaplastic.
False statement.
D.
D.
D. Okay. Wrong.
C.
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 C. Somebody said A. So I want to stress. I want to stress on this point actually that nuclear atypia, pleomorphism, or mitosis doesn't indicate malignancy at all, like other cancer in the body. In thyroid, never. Only vascular invasion and capsular invasion in Hurther cell and follicular thyroid cancer.
A.
B. A.
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 B is for Hurther cell, not for the PTC. So it is collide.
C.
No, I think the C is also right. Chromatin clearing and marginals is also right, but A is also right. I should have changed the A. Okay, so A is actually without, I should have written it as a colloid-less follicles. I have written it as a colloid-filled follicles. But chromatin clearing and margination is also a point of PTC. If you remember, I have told you three distinct nuclear features. First is the shape and size. Second is the chromatin clearing, orphan any nucleide, and third is the nuclear membrane pseudo-inclusion. Right? Non-laminated seminoma bodies is not a feature of papillary thyroid carcinoma. It is a Hurther cell carcinoma. If it would have been a laminated seminoma body, it would have been a papillary thyroid cancer. Not true. Hurther cell carcinoma. False statement.
Risk factor.
Hmm? Right. So as I specifically pointed out, there is no known risk factor for the Hurther cell carcinoma. For follicular, there are, but oncocytic has been removed from the follicular because there are so many differences. Lymph node metastasis, male predominance, no risk factor. So all these points has compelled the WHO to remove the oncocytic carcinoma from the group of the follicular carcinoma. So risk factor, this is a false one. If you remember Turing's criteria, there were 3 points in the Turing's criteria. Most important is the absence of the papillary nuclear feature.
D.
D.
B.
D.
B.
Okay, they are the easier one.
B.
B.
BRAF, right? I should have written as a BRAF point mutation, BRAF rearrangement. That would have been a difficult one. Huh?
A.
B.
A.
It is a differentiated cell carcinoma. There should not be high mitosis. High mitosis means it is a poorly differentiated. I stressed upon this point.
B.
Huh?
Who is
It is false. You have to identify false. Sorry.
D? D, sir.
B. Sorry,
Yeah,
I have written is true. It should be false. All the above three are true. Okay. Non-laminated samoma bodies, right? If laminated, then it is papillary thyroid carcinoma.
Yes.
Which
D.
feature? Oh, right.
Cytoplasm.
D.
Cytoplasm. It is only nuclear features are important and the shape and size of the cell, nuclear size, phase and type of the nucleus.
Red PTC.
Red PTC fusion. Okay. It's not red point mutation, it is a red PTC fusion.
B.
B. B.
B. Again, same point I am stressing, ATP and polymorphism doesn't indicate malignancy in thyroid cancer.
D.
D.
Not diagnostic, yeah, mitotic figure. When it is D or B, you say 2 or 4. I get confused. Okay, 2 and 4,
Yes.
like that you can say.
Four.
Force.
Yeah.
C.
Further.
D.
Right. It is only one with male predominance.
Tall cell.
Tall cell.
Hmm.
Battery.
D. 4.
Four.
Capillary. B. Second.
Younger age group. Papillary.
D.
No.
D.
Second one.
Second one.
Second.
For battery deficiency is for
Follicular.
follicular and
And poorly.
poorly differentiated.
Poorly different.
Right. C.
C.
A.
Follicular
B.
variant, not
Second.
tall cell variant.
RAS second two.
B. B. B.
As mutation. You know?
Repeat.
This same slide, sorry. Okay, this you have not studied. It will be another slide. So third and fourth point are right. Okay. BRAF
A.
with 15%. That is the most common. So first and second we will study. So actually the second point is the answer. Risk of developing cancer is
Increases
there
after.
up to 40 years of exposure. After even 40 years of exposure. So it is 20 years I have written. So it is a very long-standing risk. Even if somebody has been exposed at the age of 10 years, up to 50 years, there is a risk that he or she can develop papillary cancer. Not 20 years only, 40 years. So there will be another slide for the risk factor of thyroid cancer. Then we will study. So this point I haven't covered yet, but you can just remember